Shalom Aleichem, good we're here together on this incredible day, the day of the Yortzeit of the Rambam, the day of the Yortzeit, if I may also add, of my grandmother, my father's mother, Rebbe Odel Bas Isaac, and there is the tremendous, as we know, and the Rebbe tells us very accurately in the Dvar Malchus of 91, 92, Nun Aleph, Nun Beis, that all the actions, all the happenings that are occurring in the world, they are the expressions of the actions of Moshiach himself. It's not just happening by itself. It's not, there's nothing that occurs, as we know, we believe in Hashgacha Pratis. Nothing is haphazard. Everything has a purpose, and everything is accurately occurring at the right time, at the right place. So therefore, when we see and we're talking about a country, a nation that the Rebbe has given the title, the Eretz HaChesed, the land of kindness. And this is basically the idea of the creation of the world, that Hashem went and through his kindness, through his chesed, he went and created the entire creation. And this is in order to propagate kindness in the world. So we see the inauguration of the president of this country, of the United States, the Eretz HaChesed, the country of kindness, and a person that comes and states in his opening proclamation his open belief in Hashem, and he mentions Hashem once, twice, three times, numerous times, as the foundation of the entire nation of the United States of America. And therefore, Yehi Rotzen, it should be that this should be truly on a good and revealed basis, with happiness and joy of the heart, in the manner of peace and tranquility. And the main thing, it should be with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, Teichef Umiyad Mamesh 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 Omein. We mentioned that it's the Yortzeit, the day of the passing of the great of the great scholar Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, who was not only a great Torah scholar, but he was also renowned as one of the greatest physicians of his times, of all times, philosophers. And we see that in his lifetime that he was honored with the phrase that's written on his tombstone, on his graveside, Mi Moshe ad Moshe leikam ke Moshe, from Moshe Rabbeinu, the first of the Jewish leaders, until Moshe ben Maimon, the son of Maimon, the Rambam, none arose like Moshe, like the Rambam, like Moshe ben Maimon. Again, this is something that had been written on his gravestone. Then, this is going back some 890 years ago, but it didn't include the future. It didn't include what has yet to come. And we know that there is those that are on the level, on the greatness, and even surpassing this level. The leader of our generation, the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, who is the direct connection, the direct connection between Moshe Rabbeinu and the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, who we are waiting to have as the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach immediately now. One of the greatest stories that really leave a very deep impression about the greatness of the knowledge of the Rambam, and about the greatness of his integrity and his Torah ethics, is the following story. And the story is basically titled "The Power of Imagination." Maimonides was not only a great physician, a great doctor, but he knew the wisdom of medicine in all faculties of life, not only the physical, but also in the Toras HaNefesh, the the concept of the person's psyche. And here we see there's a story, and going back in the times when the Rambam found himself in Fostat, which later became the city Kahir as we know it today, and he was the appointed as the Sultan's doctor, the Sultan's physician, and he was basically also the Sultan's right-hand man as an advisor as well, and as a good friend, a personal good friend. But there were always those that had hatred toward the Jewish people, hatred and also jealousy to Maimonides himself. And they wanted to go and to do away with the Rambam and to appoint the greatness backing their own belief, their own religion, their way of belief was the Islam then. And therefore, one day they came to the Sultan and they told the Sultan, "Listen, why do you keep this foolish Jew around in your palace?" So the Sultan says, "Who are you calling a foolish Jew?" He says, "The doctor that you're keeping, the advisor that you have. This person, he has no knowledge in comparison to the doctor, the physician that we have to offer you, who is a Muslim." And hearing this, the Sultan knew that he was not able to go with all the pressures that were basically in the kingdom. He needed to go and to have this matter proven, so that people will be able to understand that it was not just the Sultan's own decision, but it was also the fact that this is the truth, and it's not something based on any bias. So the Sultan said, "Okay, if you want this physician to come, so we'll have a contest. We'll hold a contest, and we'll see who is the greatest physician." Oh, so the Muslims were already excited, and they asked the Sultan, "What is going to be the contest?" The Sultan said, "No problem. Each of these physicians, the Rambam and the other physician, the Muslim physician, will bring their poisons. And as they will bring their poisons, they will also bring their remedies, their anti-poisons. And they will be able to go and they'll be able to remedy themselves from the poisons of the other physician. And whoever remains on their feet, in other words, that wasn't killed from the poisons of the other physician, will be my personal physician." Now, deep inside, the Sultan had very strong hope and also strong belief and trust that not only will Maimonides be able to go and to pass the test, but he definitely will be the one that will prove himself as the greatest of physicians. And they set the the contest for the next day, and each of the physicians were thinking to themselves the following. The Muslim physician said, "Oh, this is going to be one of the greatest contests that he's going to win, because he was a professional. That was his expertise, poison. And therefore, he felt with his great pride, self-pride, that the Rambam doesn't stand a chance. At the same time, the Rambam, to make the differentiation, was thinking inside, what am I going to do? I did not learn all these years, and I didn't receive the blessings and the presents from Hashem in regard to refuah, in regard to medicine, in order to go and to use it to kill someone. I received it in order to heal people." And therefore, the Rambam there and then made a decision between himself and that he's not going to bring any poison. The only thing that he's going to bring is antidotes, anti-poisons, in order to be able to go and to save himself. And so each one of them prepared themselves for the contest the following day. They arrived at the palace gates. They entered, and in the palace courtyard, There were hundreds of people that were present in order to go in to see the big show, as they called it. They started with the Muslim doctor, physician, giving Rambam one type of food. The Rambam ate the food, and he immediately tasted the poison, and he right away took the anti-poison in order to go and to neutralize this poison. And the Muslim physician gave another dish for the Rambam to eat, and yet another dish. And each time the Rambam was able to go and to detect the poison, and he was able to go and to take the anti-poison that would remedy the situation. After all the dishes that the Muslim physician served Maimonides, it was Rambam's turn to go and to serve the Muslim physician the foods that he had prepared. Rambam prepared regular foods. There was no poison in the foods that Rambam went and gave the Muslim physician. But the Muslim physician didn't know this. He ate from the first dish, and he didn't taste any poison, and he was shocked. He said to himself, "Unbelievable! This Jew was able to go and to develop a poison that a person can't even detect, a person cannot even taste." And he got very, very excited and nervous. Now, he finished eating the first dish, and the Rambam served him the second dish, and the third, and the fourth. And every dish that this Muslim physician was eating, he was not able to go and to detect any type of poison. Now, little did he know that the reason that he wasn't able to detect any poison was because Rambam didn't put any poison in any of the foods that he gave the Muslim physician to eat. But the mind of the Muslim physician and the wheels inside his brain kept on turning and turning and drove him crazy. He said, "Oh, this is probably a newly developed poison, and you don't feel it right away. It only starts hitting a person a day, 2 or 3 later." And he was driving himself crazy. At the end of the day, both of the physicians called it a day, and they went back to their homes, and they were meant to be called back in a few days in order to go and to continue the contest. In these few days, the Muslim physician thought that he was under attack, and he did everything that he could in order to go and to remedy himself. The only way that he thought that he was able to do anything was not to eat any food, literally to fast, and the only thing that he would take into his body was milk. And not only milk, but it would have to be milk that he himself witnessed the milking of the cow, and he would not drink any other milk. It's the antithesis to Cholav Yisrael, lahavdil. But with all due seriousness, after a few days of just drinking milk, the physician was becoming weaker and weaker, the Muslim physician. And after the few days, they met up again at the palace, and the Rambam saw that the Muslim physician is very weak, and he's literally looking terrible. So the Rambam said, "Listen, I see that you don't look well. Maybe you'd like me to give you something." Oh, he started to shake. The Rambam is offering to give him something to help him. He wants to poison him, obviously. And he said, "Listen, he's taken upon himself a fast. The only thing that he takes into his body is milk. So if he wants to give him anything, he can only give him the poisons that he prepared, poisons in inverted commas, in the milk." The Rambam said, "Okay, if you want me, I'll serve you milk." And the milk was the milk that the Muslim physician, personally witnessed the milking of the cow. And the Rambam filled up a glass of milk, and he handed it to the Muslim physician. The Muslim physician, with his hands shaking, was slowly sipping on the glass of milk. He finished a third of the glass, and suddenly he fell to the ground. He fell to the ground, and after a minute or two, he was dead. Everyone in the palace was clapping, including the Sultan, who was very happy that the Rambam, Maimonides, was triumphant in the contest. And everyone hailed Rambam and said, "Oh, the great physician, the one that has the knowledge of all poisons. You have finally proven yourself." The Rambam shook his head and he said, "I'm not the one that has the I might be the one that has the knowledge of poisons, but I am not the one that uses poison." And they all looked startled and they said, "What? What are you talking about? We see here on the ground, the Muslim physician is dead. You killed him." The Rambam said, "No, bring me a child to here." And immediately there was a child that was brought, and the Rambam took from the milk that he gave to the Muslim physician, and he gave the child to drink. And everyone was in awe because they thought the Rambam is going to kill another person, this child. The Rambam very steadily gave the child to drink. The child drank the entire cup of milk. And everyone looks at the child. He's not moving. He's not shaking. He's definitely not falling to the ground. No one can understand. And the Rambam said, it is by the power of Hashem that Hashem is planted within each and every individual that has literally been exhibited here. The power or the source of the death of the Muslim physician was not by no means any poison that the Rambam, has developed or even had given, because I have never ever given any poison to any human being. So how did he die? The Sultan asked. The Rambam said he died by his own power of imagination. He was going and he was literally thinking the whole time that he was being poisoned. And in this manner of the psychology that has the power to go into induce within the human body the poison of the thoughts, that is the poison that he induced within himself that caused his death. Now, going and bringing ourselves to the here and now, we know the famous saying that the Rebbe has quoted many times from the Tzemach Tzedek, from the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Lubavitch, which is Tracht gut wird sein gut. A person should think good and it will be good. In other words, here, and how much more so when we're talking in the positive vein, how much more so when we're talking about that which is not going to be used in order to harm or to, God forbid, kill a human being, but that which is being used in order to go and to bring the remedy and the health and the state of peace and tranquility and of mind to a human being. This is exactly what the Rambam initiated and showed us almost 900 years ago. And this is what the Rebbe tells us today. In order to go and to change the world, in order to go and to change ourselves, what is initially needed is just our change of thought, just our mode of thinking, just going and turning that which is negative into the positive, that which is in the wrong and evil direction into the good and proper direction. And through this, ultimately, Bezras Hashem, will be able to bring the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. And since this week, we also have the Yortzeit, the day of the passing of the Alter Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Rebbe brings in different sichas and different public addressals that they come side by side, the Rambam on the 20th of Teves, and the Alter Rebbe on the 24th of Teves, they share also many things in common. One of the major things that we see that they share in common is that they were both oppressed. They were both ran after, and both of them were hounded. And it was not only by the non-Jews, unfortunately, but also by Jewish people, Jews that were even learned in Torah, that opposed their new way of teaching, their new system of giving over the knowledge of the Torah. This was in the times of the Rambam, with his famous book of law, the Yad HaChazaka, and all the other works that he put together. And also the Alter Rebbe bringing in and inducing into the world the concept of Hasidic philosophy, the Tanya, and not only that, but doing this, bringing about this study in a manner that a person will bring not just depth of understanding, but joy to the heart, happiness to the world. They were both hounded initially, and they had to make sure of their safety, but afterwards they also shared the triumph. They also shared the ability to be shown as the true Torah giants that they were, and not only did the people stop oppressing them, but we see that the great Torah scholars that went and oppressed them, that wanted to hound them, they became, in the Rebbe's words, they're the Rambam's the Hasidim. The Rebbe says, even though the concept of Chassid didn't exist then, as it exists today, but the fact of the matter is that these people that oppressed the Rambam became his greatest followers. And also we see by the Alter Rebbe that many of those, the majority of those that oppressed the Alter Rebbe, became the followers of the Alter Rebbe. Not only did they stop their oppression against the Alter Rebbe, but they also began with their following of the Alter Rebbe. And thus, Be'ezras Hashem, with the two great Torah giants, the Rambam and the Alter Rebbe, together with the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, will merit the redemption, the Geula Hashlema V'Amitis in a good and revealed basis, and Teichef U'Miyad Mamish with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. Yehi Adoneinu Moreinu V'Rabbeinu HaMelech HaMoshiach Chai V'Kayim Le'elam V'Ed. Amen.